In the 18th century, famous statesman Benjamin Franklin did mention that if you'd want your name to outlive you even after your death, you either have to do something worth writing about or you have to write something worth reading. Hello guys and welcome. My name is DEOLA, and on today's show we're going to be having a great time book talking. I have a guest right here with me who's a writer, a serial author, so to say, a medical practitioner, and a music enthusiast, and lots more. His book is what we're going to be talking about on the show today. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me make welcome Dr. Tobiloba Ojo. Good day, Dr. Tobi.
Good day to you, Mr. Deola.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great.
It's amazing to have you here. Now, you're Dr. Tobiloba Ojo, but then we hear a lot about Daddy Ojo, and of course, we can see the brand all over you already. I mean, what could inspire that name, Daddy Ojo, and of course, who is Daddy Ojo?
Okay, so Daddy Ojo is Dr. Tobiloba Ojo, and I'm a medical doctor first. I'm actually a writer, but all that evolved from my interaction with people. I believe people should live an impactful life. Okay. And that started back when I was in my university. People used to come down to my room to have conversations, and they started saying, "Oh, you talk like a daddy. You talk like you talk like you talk like an adult." Actually, so the name Daddy Ojo came as someone that's okay. When people are a bit confused, people don't really know the direction to head. Most times, I just give life hacks, life tips, and people end up having clarity and more focus on what they wish to achieve. So that's what brought about the name Daddy Ojo.
That's beautiful. We look forward to daddying us during the course of this interview. All right, so what books have you written so far?
Okay, so I started writing since my childhood, but professionally, I would say in the year 2020, the pandemic brought a lot to the whole world, because people had to like vent, people had to like react, and people had to consciously create something that would outlive them, because people were in a state of confusion, like is the whole world going to die of this COVID-19 pandemic? So I started with writing Never Give Up. It's a children's book, still in works, but my published works started with Reflections in the Dark, and it's a book of poems just to get people out of dark times. During the pandemic, there was a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. Then later, I wrote a book for authors. It was made free. It was an ebook titled How to Sell Your Book, just to let writers know that actually writing can be profitable. And my latest book, which I believe that's what we will talk majorly about, is how to have a stress-free year. Strategies. It's all about strategies on how to have a year that you smash your goals and you still don't break down from actively running towards your goals and achieving them. Okay,
that's great. Now let's get more specific. I mean, about the book, How to Have a Stress-Free Year. What brought about that book? Did you probably have personal experiences of very stressful years, and then you had to go do some research and decided to share your findings with people? Or what exactly brought about you helping people in having a stress-free year for themselves?
Okay, so I would say it's a mix of experience and expertise. For example, in the year 2018, 2019, 2020, the New Year Eve were spent in actively resuscitating lives.
Okay.
That is, I was active, treating patients and making sure they were not losing life. So it was a lot of idea and family time, all the Christmas season, all the holiday season. I was always at work. So it affected my work-life balance. I was breaking down at a point. I was even tired of medicine in quote. And I was like, oh, this is getting too stressful. And so I reached out to psychologists, to sleep therapists on, okay, how can I get this balance? How can I do a lot of active work, meaningful work, and yet I'll have a family life, I'll have a social relationship with people around me. And my core value of bringing impact to the world in a world that we expressly live the best of our life that is fully impactful, I just wanted something like that. And so I went into deep research and I came up with 17 strategies in which you can use to have a goal smashing year, yet you don't break down.
Okay, that's great. We definitely will look into the strategies, but before we get into that, I was just thinking, you know how people come up with a whole lot of resolutions at the beginning of a new year, and people are becoming more purpose-driven by the day and all of that. Do you think that with all of this pressure, so to say, do you think it's easier to prevent stress at all through the year? I mean, when we have goals that we're looking forward to achieving at the end of the year, or is it that we just have a means of managing the stress at the end of the year?
Okay, that's a very good question. You don't avoid stress totally.
Okay.
You manage stress. There are good stress. There are good forms of stress. For example, if you have a kid, if you just had a child, you will be stressed. That's a good form of stress. But how do you cope with that? What do you do going forward? That, okay, now I am a father. That is a part of my life. Now I'm a husband. How do I maximize this relationship and get something meaningful? Then I'm having this resolution. I want to buy a car. I want to produce a lot of projects. Then how can I balance it? That, okay, I still have a good sleep life. I still have a good work ethic. I still focus on my work deeply, yet I don't break down. The point is not breaking down, and you avoid breaking down. You'll notice when your energy level is going down, and you'll find a way to, okay, this is the time to relax, step back, and re-strategize, and see every day as a new day. The new year, everyone says starts from January 1, but some people have been actively planning since December from the previous years. And at the end of the day, if you see every day that this is a new day, I'm ready to achieve my goals, I'm ready to smash my goals, and come what may, I'll be resilient no matter what I face, then I can assure you, even when stress comes, you better cope with it that way.
Okay, that's beautiful. So you are saying that having a stress-free year is particularly not lazing around. It's still you being productive, smashing your goals, but handling stress and not breaking down particularly.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Now, you know that you'd agree with me that we have various types of stress: mental, physical, emotional, and a whole lot more. So which of these stresses particularly was your book addressing, or do we have it addressing all forms of stress basically?
Okay, it was more of psychological stress, and I always tell people that there's no health without mental health. The reason we can have this interview right now is because we are sane, and no matter what we've gone through throughout the day, we can still have something productive out of our lives, because up there we are not stressed. Up there we manage better. Up there we have things that, yes, they are goals, but we are also working towards strategies to make these goals achievable. So getting a stress-free year, getting a stress-free day comes with managing, comes with a lot of, okay, what can I do better? I did this yesterday, I didn't get a good result. What can I do better today? So once we take every day one step at a time, we take things one step at a time, and we see that every day is a day to be 1%, at least 1% better than the previous day, then obviously we'll achieve our goals and dreams.
Okay, that's really beautiful. Now let's get into a few things that you mentioned in the book, going through the book. Of course, just a few things so that we leave the readers to some more suspense to, of course, get the books for themselves. So you did mention that some of the strategies for having a stress-free year is building good social relationships. And you also did mention that one of the strategies is being assertive. You say yes when you need to say yes, you say no when you need to say no. But then, how can one be very assertive about his opinion? I know that I do not need this at this point in time, and so I'm saying no. And at the same time, I'm not breaking the bond of the social relationships that are built. If I have a friend who wants me to do something and I know that, okay, this is going to stress me out unnecessarily, how do I say no without breaking that bond? Because I know that when I'm stressed, eventually I need to still get back to this person for warmth, for comfort or something. So how do those two strategies, how do they come in place without necessarily contradicting each other?
Okay, so one word for that is intentionality. What is your intention in the relationship? For example, if you have something to address and you know you break down, you make the person see the reasons, and trust me, when it's a loved one, they might withdraw back that, okay, I expected more from you and all that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes from a place of love, and you say that, okay, actually, I couldn't do this because of the stated reasons, and in that way, you say no with your self-care in place. And also, you can just refer the person. You can just refer the person to expert. I spoke about that in the book, that it's not all situations you can handle yourself. You need to learn to reach out to people. You need to let other experts to do their work. And there are some times that it is beyond your capacity. Just, okay, I know someone that can help. Okay, I know someone that I can call right now that can get this fixed for you, and you go refer the person, and that person will still see that your loved one will still see that, okay, he has my best intention at that, and that way you keep your relationship intact.
That's beautiful. Now, if I get you right, you're saying that being assertive does not mean that, or saying no particularly, does not mean that you are not still a part of the process of finding a solution to what that person needs.
Yes.
You can still be a part of it without necessarily being...
You're still part of the person's life.
That's very true. Okay, one of the other strategies you mentioned that I'd like us to talk about is deep works. You mentioned that we have to get involved in deep works as much as possible. But then, many of the opinion that deep works would actually stress you out more than not stressing you out at all. I mean, many people have the mentality that the more works you do, the more stressed you become, which could be physically, true if you look into it. So how does it really come in place, and how can we balance deep work with running away from stress, so to say?
Okay, I'll say one word again: priorities. Get your priorities right. Usually, we all know that deep work is real work. Like, you can't say you are in deep work and you are gallivanting. It requires all your focus. It requires all your resources, your mental resources, your financial resource. It requires your time. And the best way to do deep work is that, okay, at that point in time, you set out, okay, this is one goal, one major goal I would like to achieve. And what that does is that it blinds off your distraction. And when you go achieve that, go celebrate yourself, please. Celebrate yourself for achieving what you went all deep for. And at the end of the day, the deep work is not a waste. And there are sometimes you involve in deep work, you feel tired. Come on, relax and go back to work. It doesn't break you. It actually makes you to be able to better deal with situations. Because once you can involve in some level of deep work, trust me, your emotional health will be like, okay, it gives you that thumbs up that yes, you can actually achieve even what seems impossible.
Level of validation.
Exactly, that's the word.
That's really great, and it's important that we note that we relax a little bit in between all of the deep works as much as possible.
Exactly.
All right, so we've mentioned, I think, about 3 or 4 strategies now, and I wouldn't want us to go further than that, so that, of course, you can go get the book as you watch. Yes, it's How to Have a Stress-Free Year by Dr. Tobiloba Ojo. Okay, now talking about books, I think Malcolm X did say that if you want to hide something from an African man, then you have to place it in a book, meaning that Africans don't really get to read books. But then you're a serial writer, and then you also have a book encouraging writers on how to get the best sales. So what do you think about that? Is it really that Africans do not read books? Do you have a personal experience with writing and the sales wasn't really turning up well? Or how do you just navigate the waters with that?
Okay, so understand that Malcolm X quote, I would say, look at Malcolm X's life. He had a lot of confusion early in his life.
Okay.
He had a lot of withdrawing. Like he was this guy that felt that he had all the answers. And when he started reading, he actually realized that there are lots of things that I didn't know. And that is typical of blacks. The whites, I would say, with my interaction with them, they are inquisitive. They are generally more inquisitive.
Yeah.
And our culture in Nigeria Africa at large, makes us a bit more reserved. We don't want to chat on uncharted territory. We don't want to tread that path most times. And so it's as a way of affecting our mind. So coming to books and how Africans are receptive to it, I say, for writers, make it as simple as possible. Make it stupidly simple for people to understand. And they always see you as the writer that they don't have to necessarily stress themselves before they read. They can relax and learn how to have a stress-free year. They can relax and read poems and be encouraged. They can relax and be like, okay, I can relate with this. And once people have this likability, you are relatable, they like you, they buy into your message, and trust me, sales will come. And there are some people that till their kingdom come, they don't want to read. They don't want to read because they've not seen the need, because they've not been exposed to superior ideas. They just feel, oh, I have all the answers. And trust me, they come running to you when they need answers to that question your book addresses.
Wow, that's really amazing. I got that straight. Now let's get to you a little bit more. Let's get to Dr. Ojo. Let's get back to Dr. Ojo a little bit more. Now, as a medical practitioner, where did writing come in place for you? I mean, was it at a phase where medicine was getting really hard and you were looking for a side, something by the side to encourage you? Or when did it just come up for you?
Okay, so writing, as I said earlier, I've been writing since I was a child.
Okay.
But during my exposure in the university, there was a club that my roommates belonged to. It's called Quills, and what they used to do was write and review books. So I started picking interest. I was not part of the club, but I used to attend their meetings, and I was like, wow. So you can actually study medicine, you can actually practice, and yet you are still productive in your sharing of ideas to other people, laudable ideas. Trust me, doctors know a lot that they don't necessarily say during consultation. So why not put that into writing, and at the comfort of the person's bed, at the comfort of the person's library, someone can always pick it up. So it wasn't coming from a place of I wanted profit. It was coming from a place of I needed to help some people, like reach a wider audience. And that is what really inspired my writing, and that's always what I'd been since I was a child. Like, okay, if I can't say this to you, can I write it to you?
Yeah.
All right. So that's
I get it. I think I used that a whole lot as a child too. You know, sometimes you always don't have the courage to face people and tell them things, so you could just write it out to them, which is really beautiful. How has it been managing both sides for you? We all know that medicine, it's like a very strenuous career path, with writing, with all of the creative blocks and having to think through projects before you put them down. How's it been like managing both sides?
I would say balance. Like we have to balance things. When they say health is not just physical. Health is a complete state of physical, mental, social, spiritual well-being, and not just absence of disease and ailment. So what does that mean? For you to be healthy, you have to balance things. For you to live an impactful life, you have to balance things. So I've always been someone that I try to balance things. I'm in church this moment, I'm with my family this moment, I'm in this event this moment, I'm writing this moment. So I would say in the morning, typically during work, it's just clinical work. But at home, after the comfort of sinking back into my own, then the creative process breathes out of me, and I put most things into writing in that way. So there's always a balance. Everyone has morning and night. You can't always be occupied all the time. So you can always let out your emotions, your inspiration, and your ideas down to people when in the midnight or at night, and you are not necessarily stressed. It's just an hobby. It's just something you love, actually. actually.
Beautiful. Now, after 3 books, are we expecting more books from you?
Way more.
Okay.
Way more. So way more. And there's a children's book that is about to be released. It's titled Never Give Up.
Okay.
And it's just to inspire little kids that yes, whatever you set your goal, whatever you set as a goal, you can achieve it. If you want to be a doctor, you can be the best doctor in the world. If you want to be a lawyer, an engineer, you can be the best, but don't give up on your dreams. Don't actively chase them. Build your capacity such that at the end of the day, you are actively productive to the society. And that is the highest level of achievement to everyone.
Okay, that's great. But then you said way more. So are we going to, do you have like a target, like some 30 books before you are
honestly
a particular age or
there
something?
are so many. Like I remember your call. That was all about love, the different kinds of love, still in works, and so many more I'll reveal.
Okay, with time. Beautiful. We'll be looking forward to all of that. Could you just share platforms where people could come in contact with your books and buy your books, the published ones already?
Okay, so my master link is linktree/daddy_ojo. So I'll spell it out. And https://link.tr.ee/Daddy Ojo. That seems a bit complex, but just Google Daddy Ojo.
Okay.
You'll get me on Instagram or anywhere, and you can reach my master link that way.
Okay, and I think you also have a blog where you share music recommendations. You want to drop that too?
Okay, that's just daddyojo.wordpress.com.
All right, amazing. So before we wrap this off, I mean, there are a lot of writers out there who have books that they probably have written and kept under the shelf, or who are even doubting how far they can come with writing and all of that. Do you just have a final word for them?
Okay, so for writers, I would say start small. Start small. Like you don't know the work you will release that will change the world. Even the likes of J.K. Rowling, they had lots of challenges when they were writing in the early stage of their career, and trust me, you can even your least favorite work can be what can change the world. So write, but don't keep it under your shelf. Let it inspire the world, no matter how small it is. It can be a small ebook. It will surely touch people's lives, because writers change lives.
Wow, writers change lives. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Daddy Dr. Ojo. Which do you go by most often, Daddy or Doctor? Which comes?
Most people just call me Dr. Ojo, but usually people that read my books or people that see me on social media just say, Daddy Ojo, Daddy Ojo.
Thank you. It was a beautiful session. Daddy knows through this amazing interview session. It was nice having you around.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So guys, that's it. Do not forget to get the book, How to Have a Stress-Free Year by Dr. Tobiloba Ojo. And it includes a whole lot, I think about 17 strategies and even a stress worksheet that you could work with through the year. And indeed, you'd find out at the end of the year that you have indeed had a stress-free year. Thank you very much, guys. Till when next we meet, my name is DEOLA. Bye for now.